Greetings once more. Welcome as we return to our adventures. Avanswell in the waterlands beyond. We have seen the enemy that faces our people, seen the source of them coming from Drake. These are people you must recognize. They are people that were seen as savages, monsters, beings of violence. Perhaps some were that way, but all of them cannot be said. Perhaps there was misguidance, aggression, differences in culture. These people were sent to the barrens, banished away, and now united, they bring bloodshed and death to all in the continent. This army, these forces, have drawn thin blood, their blood spilled as much as the blood that they have spilled themselves. In turn, every death leads to a death of their own, and their numbers too. Will their strength maintain themselves? Will their faith in their dark leader maintain themselves? Or will this land our heroes call home, the Waterlands, maintain themselves and hold strong, the last bastion of civilization in this continent? We shall have to see. Hello everybody, greetings, welcome to Fall of Avanswell after that little bit of a introduction here. I'm joined by my 3 players, including a newer player here playing Calder down there.
Nope.
So we'll be starting out with our normal basics that we do every time we start. We roll d20s and basically see an order of operations because we got a question that was thrown in chat. And we're going to have some characters as part of the introduction answer for us. So everybody, give me a d20s roll. Yeah? Let's see where we're all at. Okay, 10. Okay, start. Right there in the middle. Umber's rolling well tonight. 13. Wow. All right.
Also,
Joe?
you really should let me know when my image is wrong.
I honestly forget.
I'm still working on my spells.
Okay. Well, we got enough for you. And today's question is, when you have free time, what do you do to relax?
And now my dog's back working.
Of course.
I am Joe. I play Umbrin Wisespark, the Fetchling Animist. And it's been a long time since I've really had free time and haven't been running somewhere. So when I do get a little bit, I just meditate and talk to my spirits.
Nice. Good times. Alright. Then we will move on to our second in our initiative with Wyrm.
I am Diamond Wyrm, and I am playing... I almost went off... Sorry, I hitched there because I almost went off on my character for the Saturday game.
Stick to the script!
Yeah. I'm Diamond Wyrm, and I'm playing Ixbanor, the awakened Ferret Sorcerer.
Cool. Now, yeah, your answer to the question.
Yes. I mean, it depends on how much time I have. If I have lots of time and a bit of extra resources, I'll mix some stuff together to see what potions I can make. Otherwise, usually I just resort to getting some belly rubs from someone.
It's a weird thing, but it fits the idea. Here's the
I'm not rubbing your belly.
Come on now! Rub my belly. It's fuzzy. You're right, it is also...
Noticing a theme in these games.
Wait, what?
Tiny animalistic creatures? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, nah, it must be in my head.
I mean, I'm playing a gnome in the Saturday game.
A gnoblin?
Oh yeah, your Saturday game you have. Yeah.
I'm just playing a gnome, who's also a wizard. I like the. Now that is a theme you can get behind.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Sorcerer, wizard.
So, I forgot to ask ahead of time, so I'll have to ask now for our player who's playing Calder. What do you want to go by here while you're here? What do you want me to call me so I can remember here? As a person, not the character.
Oh, as a person, you can just call me Jessie. I don't care if you use my name.
Yeah, Jessie. I'll just try to make sure.
RS.
Yeah, so Jessie. Why don't you introduce your character? Since it's your first time here, you can throw out a little bit of maybe basics information about your character, a little extra, and then answer the question too, so we get a view of yours.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
For as long as he lives, I'm going to be playing Calder Wrynn, human gunslinger. He was... how do I put this? He spent most of his time apprenticing under his dad, who worked as a blacksmith / mechanic in their small little village. His mom was an herbalist, and he learned some alchemical skills from her, but never picked up a ton. And eventually he set off on his own with his little makeshift hammer gun called Mjolnir. He spends most of his time just wandering from town to town looking for junk he can use to upgrade his gear.
And certainly it's probably taken you over to this dangerous area of the country, just because you're on the borders where the enemy has taken over. Maybe it's a good opportunity to find out what's going on with the military, see what they've got anything interesting.
Oh, yeah. He's always looking to get supplies from anywhere he can either salvage or steal from.
So, how about you answer the question here? You have free time, you relax.
When he does find time to sit down on the road when he's wandering, he'll either polish his gun or look at some old photos he keeps on him. Or pictures, I should say.
So, we'll kind of head back in to where we left off. We missed last week. It was dungeon exploration. And escaping from the dungeon, you found yourself emerging from a cave into the forest. Far away from the dangers that had been threatening you before. Certainly speaking, the team decided to give a rest. And you will relax for the night, recover yourselves, and be ready to leave in the morning. You, of course, are still accompanied by the two Bedouin brothers, Jonas and Kurt. And you have the woman who has been in very stable conditions, but has been unconscious for a number of days so far. She's basically just to mention, she lost an arm in a horrible accident before she was captured, and then really people did not put her in very good medical condition, left her in a cage for a while. Just saying, not a great way to treat a prisoner. Mm-hmm. But again, seems like most of the prisoners that were being caught were being sent to an alchemical lab for experimentation. They weren't really treating prisoners right anyway. Ooh. So, anyway, you can have a fairly uneventful night, though...
Oh, there is something I want to do before we rest.
Oh, okay.
Because I noticed I was missing a spell.
Mm.
And I am going to cast Cleanse Affliction on the freaking hurt woman.
Ah, sounds great. Seems like a good idea. Choose an affliction on the target, such as curse, disease, or poison. Restriction can apply to a given.
Knowing Pathfinder, probably just because they're bonuses to the roll rather than like curing her.
So
the only thing I can click is counteract, which I don't know.
You actually do a counteract.
It is meant to reduce it by one stage.
Oh, okay, so click counteract then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So counteract. Yeah. So basically, the level you cast the spell at. So the counteract should be based off the DC of. Yeah, it should be like based off the DC of the affliction.
Well, you did. Counter the target if the counter rank is less than 2. Counter the target if the rest is 3. Counter the target if the is less than 5.
So usually, if it's usually afflictions will have some kind of set counteract DC.
Yes.
If not, you can
to,
use level-based DCs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Generally, you want to use, instead of level bit, you want to use spell level based DCs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I'm going to say you did roll a 3, so I don't think this is a success. It's
Probably
not a critical failure. So, if it's ranked less than 2, so it has not been counteracted, but it does still reduce the stage by 1, it seems. Like, if I read the spell itself above. So I guess what it is it's you can get rid of it outright for the check, but also even if you don't do any of those outright getting rid of, it still reduces it by 1. If I read this correctly.
I believe so. I mean, I can pin the entire thing if you need me to.
Well, I'm reading
it is up there, yeah. So never mind.
The reduction can be applied once if given case of affliction. Case ending is completely cured. Otherwise, it can occur again. Height version spell can counteract with each casting.
Okay.
Oh, what level are you casting this at, actually?
It is a 2nd level.
You
I
can
could cast it as it as a 3rd level.
Okay, because it looks as though
you now can.
The 3rd level allows you to roll the counteract. Just casting it at 2nd level reduces it by 1. The 3rd level also then gives you a counteract check. Yes. Okay. And then the 4th level allows you to counteract if it's also a curse.
So I just reduced it by 1.
Yes.
Okay, that's completely fine.
Yeah. She seems better off than her horrible infection that's probably in her body from being, left there. You had stabilized her. This probably helps a little bit.
I also could now do a natural medicine, which I could use my nature instead of medicine to treat wounds, if that would help.
Sure, give it a check. Watching after her a little bit here.
So, let me roll my nature. Give me a sec.
Young.
Got that. There. Roll.
That's a pretty good check. Let me check what it's doing here. Give me a second to look up skills. As we're looking after this nice lady here.
Also, if no one wants those emeralds we got, I could use them for crystal healing.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. If it was level 3, then you could attempt to counteract, which could get rid of it entirely.
Okay.
I think is what's the benefit. Otherwise, you just reduce it by 1.
I'm just going to do that. Associates. That was weird. That's a little broken. All right.
What broke?
I'm just trying to try something. Hey, that worked. Cool. The dice roll at the bottom was a little broken for me.
So the ones where you click on it? Yeah.
Mine's working fine. I don't know why. Yours is broken.
Oh, down now.
Probably because you did. Well, yeah, probably also because you did 0 at the bottom. You actually have to have an amount.
I had one, but I think it's because I typed something in, it had broken it ahead of time, and I had to type in a roll.
Oh, you may have had like a space in there or something. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I had to accidentally type something in. So cool. But a 16 is pretty good. I think that means, sure, the world is getting better, but she's at least stable. So she seems definitely okay at the moment here. Not great, but okay. She was pretty bad off.
Probably better than she was.
Yes. And the
Does
gentleman.
anyone have objections if I take those emeralds?
Let's say no.
Kind
Kind
of. It depends on what you plan to use it for.
Well, the emeralds I can use for my other new feat I got, which is crystal healing. If they're worth at least 5 gold pieces or more, I can use them to treat disease or poison. If they're worth 50 or more, I can do it at a +1. And if they're worth 700 or more, I can do it at a +2.
I think they're 100 apiece, right?
Chances?
I don't know if I said.
Hold on. To be fair, you said they're 300 GP. Or no, sorry, 100 GP each for a total of 300 GP.
There you go.
So there would be like +1 medicine kits for me.
That sounds expensive.
They're very nice emeralds that apparently also can be used to contact a horrible monstrosity over a plane with talk or something. Don't worry about that. Anyway.
I still think we should have figured out who was on the other side of that mirror.
So, you enjoy your rest, and it will be uneventful. Though I will tell you, when people are on guard, you definitely can hear noise off in the distance, which perhaps sounds like beams out in the woods. Whether that is your opponents, or perhaps more things like the wargs you fought earlier, or other wild beasts. It's impossible to say. It is far enough off that it just sounds like growls and noises out in the distance.
Yeah. I mean, it could be both, too.
True.
I'm just saying, can I hold on to them, though, for now? And if it comes to using them, we can say, I'll ask, is it okay if I use one?
Yeah, that works. You can hold on to them.
Okay. That's more what I was getting at. Thank you. Sorry.
Alright. As morning will come, and you will move to the entrance of the cave you've been staying in, you can see that it is pouring out. This is muddling the sound, certainly, but in both ways. But it's wet, it's mucky. The good weather you've had for perhaps the last week has finally broken into a rainstorm. Forest is doing a good job of at least keeping it from hitting you directly, most of the time, but it's still wet, yucky, cold out.
Yeah.
Plan.
Well, I would assume that we're going to continue.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a way of telling which direction is south? You are currently not near the road.
Could I make, I guess, a nature check?
I will see if that's a good direction. That might be like
Or survival. I also have survival. They're both +11, so.
You sense direction action. Awesome. Okay, cool. It is a survival attempt.
Okay. Oh. Let me roll that.
15.
Jesus Christ.
It's okay. But, let's see here.
My rolls are very up or down.
They really are. You either have really good rolls or really bad rolls.
You do not have a compass, right? Just making sure.
Let me check. I know I bought a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see if we have one.
Does that make a
my
difference?
stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a compass.
Okay.
I also have a compass.
Hey, that gives you a bonus to that, and that helps a lot. Also,
I mean,
like,
should a compass tell me which direction south?
Hey, yeah, the compass just tells you.
I mean,
compass helps you sense direction or navigate. Uniform magnetic fields. I think you have uniform magnetic fields, sure.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Knowing so yeah, it does give you let you know direction. Sense direction is also a little different. It's like knowing where to go. If you know because this is the thing, we don't know if we've passed or blah blah blah. Like we can use it to determine direction, but we don't necessarily know where to go.
Yeah, you were trying to so I'll say, using the compass, you know which way is south, but unfortunately you're not sure where to the south you are from. You've traveled south. You know where to go farther south, but in comparison to the road, any of the smaller settlements, where the hell you were, you're not quite sure, unfortunately. So, you generally speaking could head south. You know you will eventually, at very least, hit one of the major rivers. And then, if you hit one of those rivers, you turn right, you eventually get back to town. You know that much, at least.
oh, I can also... Just to make sure for our travel, I'm going to cast Show the Way.
All right. Yeah, so you can go through some... It is difficult terrain, so it makes it quicker.
Yes.
Okay. You get everybody a little
Stay
bit
within
bonus there.
20 feet of me.
Sure.
And we last for 8 hours.
Yeah. So you'll begin to be able to make your travels. It is definitely a lot easier now that you've cast Show the Way to cut through the thick forest. The trails and paths you were on definitely hid the fact that there are deeper areas of the forest are pretty thick. Lots of underbrush, thick, very shade-resistant bushes with lots of little thorns and stuff on them and little prickers, kind of strange red berries that kind of pop up.
Oh, did we rest?
You did rest.
We did rest. I just had I'm just going to recast Show the Way because that I did use today, but that Cleanse Affliction I have back. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
You did
I didn't know we were... Well, yeah, so I'm going to also rest because I didn't realize we did.
Yeah, that's what I was casting out before we rested, I was saying.
As around the time your spell will run out, you will reach the river. So you can tell this is the river you were looking for. You're heading south. It is heading in a... I don't know what direction it's going. A easterly direction. I have to remember my own map for a second. Because the river splits, and one heads further north, eventually hitting the coast, and part of it heads further east, and also kind of loops around and eventually hits the coast, kind of making an area that's kind of cut off. It is the major area where the river splits.
Hey, we're back into somewhat familiar territory.
Yeah, you're now along a river. It's nice around here. It's a little bit more open. You can travel around the edge of the waterway. Everybody's a little tired, but you could still push on if you wish to. But certainly, you're probably far away from danger at this point in time. Say for, wargs and stuff like that.
Well, we've been traveling for 8 hours. I mean, we could push on a little further.
Okay. Pushing a little further, it will be a few more hours heading further west, and eventually your home city, the one you came out of, the Bearchleans, will be in view. Its wooden walls and palisades stretching into view. The grand bridges heading north, the grand north and south bridge that still is one of the few connections back to the mainland, or the main part of the country, remain.
Huzzah.
It will be getting to also evening at this point in time. So things will be getting dark. The sun is coming down. It's night is quickly hitting you as you are approaching the city.
But we can get in before
Sure.
dark. Okay, great. Then
Yeah.
we will get the hell in, and then I'm just gonna. I'm gonna look at Ixbanor. Where should we stay? I think we could all use a rest. Or do we need to? Well, or should we alert everyone first?
Alert everyone first to what?
That
I think I missed something.
That there is a bunch of goblins.
Oh, you found signs
Amassing?
of goblins?
Well, no. Remember?
Oh, you're
The
saying
whole
rush
reason-
ahead or stop and rest?
No. We're getting into the city. I'm saying, should we rest?
Oh, we are getting into the city.
Before
I
we
missed
talk.
that somehow.
Yeah, he just said that.
Sorry, I was. I think I missed something while writing down a note for another thing.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we just got to the city basically just as darkness is falling, and I'm saying, should we rest?
Basically,
or should we
you
alert
probably
everyone
came
first?
rushing up to the one door on the western, the eastern side of the city. Basically, as they're beginning to close it for the night, kind of thing. So you're like, hey, wait, we need to get inside. Probably then with the two brothers kind of pulling it up. Well, the brothers will kind of be like, well, thank you for getting us back here. We're probably going to rest for a few days and then we'll drop the lady here off at the cathedral. Maybe some people there will heal or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could split up. I could go to the manor, and you can go look after the woman, perhaps.
I can do that if you wish.
Might be.
I can explain her at least what we understand of her condition.
Yeah, I think it's good to make sure she's safe and okay and healing. But yeah, I do think someone should rush off ahead to tell them what's going on. And I can be the one to do that if you.
Yeah,
if you think...
since you know the mayor the best.
I know the mayor's wife. The mayor never really.
You know this city best. How's that?
Sure.
Remember that you were working directly for the military, not for the mayor.
Yes.
True.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah, but the mayor's wife was working with the military.
Yeah, but she was also mostly staying in the fort.
Yeah.
Not that she might not be home, but...
Did I say... Well, okay. I would go to the fort. I'm sorry. I don't know why I assumed she would be working out of the manor, but okay, if she's working out of the fort, then I go to the fort.
Yes. You were talking to her in the fort, so, I mean, unless she moved there during the meantime.
Yeah. So, I just kind of assumed, but it's also late, so I don't know, that's why.
It's been a while since you've been in the town, though, too. I mean, hard to say. She works late sometimes, depending on what's going on, so she might there, but she not be. It's hard to say.
I might as well go to the fort first, though, if she's there a lot.
Yeah. All right,
I can at least tell someone important.
Talas will take over for the woman and escort you. The Bettleman brothers will be like, we're just gonna go. We got a little bit of cash, as one of them will pull like a little wallet of things. We're gonna stay at an inn and probably then go further south. Maybe head for the capital.
You know what?
You guys want to come with us? All that horrible things out there are kind of deadly. Sure, the army down at the capital might be enough to take them on. Yeah, take them on.
We have other things to attend to right now. Perhaps we'll see each other again. If you want to, If you want to help, you can talk to. I'd give them a name of someone in the fort or somewhere they could join with.
Thanks for the offer. We'll think about it.
Just
I also
safe and watch your backs.
I also give each of them a silver. I also give each of them a silver piece. This is to make sure. This is for helping out with the woman.
All right. They'll head off to find some place to stay for the evening. So, Eskret's going to go with you, Ixbanor, and Alice will go with Umbrin. Why don't we take care of Umbrin first? Just to spin a little quicker. you'll be able to find your way to the local cathedral, which is, it's not a big building. I call it cathedral. It's got the kind of grand architecture of a cathedral, but as religion's not a large thing here, basically it's a very fancy building that's connected to a hospital. That's really what it is. It just tends to be that some of the very few clerics
there's
do
very few
run
clerics left. I know this.
it. So the divine casters kind of like run things as they have to magic on top of your alchemical and more like medical people. So certainly speaking, you can find your way there and check the woman into medical. She is definitely suffering some kind of horrible infection that she caught post her arm removal, which, I mean, like, basically her arm was torn off, and then the people that captured her were nice enough to cut the stump and burn it shut. Like, that was nicer, but it's still not great, you know?
Yeah.
Just, they had...
Stopped it from bleeding.
Yeah, they're like, that looks horrible. Chop a little bit off the end, burn it shut. Now you'll maybe live long enough for us to, like, do our other stuff that we're going to do. Great.
Probably some weird, horrible ritual. Who knows?
Yeah, you know.
They might have been taking her to merge her with an animal.
Yeah, or other various horrible things. Yay! Horrible, alchemical experiments and chimerical experiments.
Also, as we get to the archway, I'll kind of make a little, like, holy sign.
Okay.
And when we enter, because I do have religious teachings, so, you know, I tried to pay respects.
Yep. There's a younger priest here, one of the few priests that you know about in the city. He tends to revere the goddess of family, and so has very little in the way of like combat training at all, but has been trying his best to make sure everybody's in good spirits, and is very surprised, you know, that someone has been coming in here and calls for some people to send them in. He was basically kind of like looking after things, kind of cleaning up the worshipping area at the end of the night, where there was like a couple of people around who were giving some prayers at the end of the day to the little statues of various goddesses and stuff like that. So, thank you very much. Is there anything we need to know about who this woman is?
We know little ourselves. She was captured by some goblins.
Oh, heavens my! Are they nearby? This
was far away from town.
They must be mounting assault! Have you informed the guard?
One of our companions are talking to the guards now.
I must prepare medical things.
There is no immediate threat. Calm down.
No, the creatures are coming! It will be a threat. We've been waiting for this. The years have gone on and they have not attacked. Now they come for us. Hopefully the guard will be ready. But I am not a fighter. I will do my best. He's going to rush off.
Open my mouth.
You remember when I started, I said, tensions were high, everybody was afraid.
Yeah, I know. I misspoke out of as myself.
I assume Umbrin would have just said that too. It makes sense. You just went through some shit. You're not thinking to like keep things. It makes sense. He's gonna go off and start working on things, and probably setting some stuff up, and the woman will be taken away.
I will ask whoever's taken away if you could inform us of her condition. Just ask for Umbrin Wisespark. I'll be at the fortress.
Oh, yes, of course. Make sure to catch up with you at full track. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I'll head, Talas and I will head towards the fortress then.
Alright. So, Ixbanor, you can arrive at the fortress. Things are still on guard. It's as heightened as it's been. but the large open field that was filled with all those people, kind of checking in, it's empty now. At this point in time, it's late at night. There are guards up on the walls. It looks like there's some work on some shift changes going on. Some guards heading to bed. A couple of people seemingly heading to things like mess, or getting a little bit of late night training in, especially if they are depending on where they are stationed and time period. So things are still busy at the fortress, even though it certainly is a lot quieter than it was during the day.
Yep. I mean, I run up to a guard and ask them if... Hold on. Circean Eversang. Evan and Sang, right? Yeah.
Evans.
Is there. Evan and Sang.
Evan and Sang, yes.
Yeah.
You said it correctly, sort of. But close enough. The commander? What about her?
Well,
who are you?
Sent on a... I am Ixbanor. I was sent on a mission. With my friends.
Who sent you?
To Sarah. Actually, good point. Jonas Quillick.
Quillick. You're one of Quillick's people. It's just kind of question and scratch his head for a moment because you are a ferret with a probably on the shoulder of like a tall
rat man. Yeah.
Oh no, you were with a rat.
I was with Eskret.
Yeah, that's right. A short rat man. A very odd combination. I believe he's currently in the mess. If you want to check in with him, I'm afraid that just as a volunteer, we can't quite give you permission to go in on your own. You'll need his escort. But I do believe the commander is still in her office. I'd hurry, though.
Circean is a friend. So I don't think she will have an issue with letting me in, but we will report to Quillick first.
He's kind of scratch his head, kind of like looking at you, be like, sure. Get back to what he was doing. Alright, you can head for the mess, and it won't be too difficult to find Jonas. Jonas Quillick is currently kind of sitting down at a table with a number of other people, and they seem to be playing some kind of game of chance. They are got some looks like some watered down ale that they're drinking, and Jonas seems to have be probably about 4 mugs in. So he will notice you. Ah! Lord Eskret's marnivolous misfits. Welcome. How are you, marvelous?
Perhaps we should talk to Sarian. I keep wanting to say Caesarian. Circean.
You're welcome. You are all alive. I only see 2 of you.
They were. We found some injured people.
Did the spooky one and the big one die?
No, they survived. They were taking an injured woman we found to the infirmary.
Come on, join the card game.
I can join after, but we really do need to talk to. I guess can I? Do you mind if I head right up to Circean?
I mean, I think the guards would stop you, but also, like, you're very tiny. You could probably avoid them.
You know what? You're
very tiny. You're very tiny. Not you. You're less tiny.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna. I'll be back.
As you're kind of trying to turn to leave, he'll kind of like you'll hear some shuffling and he'll be like, fine. As he'll come running up. Wait. I'm supposed to go with you if you're going into the main building, just so someone who's responsible for you can go in there. Did you
Okay.
see anybody else while you were out there? You were the first ones to come back.
Yes. No one from the none of the other recruits.
Okay.
But
We were drinking because we thought you were dead.
oh,
A toast to you. But you're marnivelous, and you're back.
are other people dead?
Probably. We did expect some of you back days ago.
Yeah, that's fair. There was some complications. That's kind of why we need to see Circean. Yeah, there may be and I kind of like whisper to him like, there may be a giant goblin horde coming.
I should not be drinking then. Let's go. Does anybody have hot tea or coffee? I'll get some later. Jonas out.
Now,
Same with Spot.
Question. Does alcohol count as a poison?
Kinda?
My thought is I could give him an elixir, one of my elixirs of life, which should give him like a +1 to his next saving throw versus poison.
I don't think he's currently
just
drinking any, so it's basically yeah.
I know. My point though is it might sober him up a little faster.
It might. If you want to try it, we can save it, sober him up a little bit more.
Yeah, not immediately, because again, it's just bonus 2 saves, meaning he still has to make them. But yeah.
So he'll accompany you, but he's definitely not leading you if you want to like poke Eskret into going in the right place, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, I assume I'm on the ground just going to the right place.
No,
I
just
feel like
drive Eskret.
You're gonna Ratatouille Eskret? Oh, God. A fair on a rat for Ratatouille. I just... Alright, that's a thing that's happening. Anyway. Alright, you will head up to the commander's office, Commander Avanswell. Avanswell.
Is it just Avanswell? Why did I get an extra AN in there?
There's an extra AN in there, and I had a way of pronouncing it, but it's been so many weeks, my brain is kind of broken from it, and I've got to remember how I pronounced it. Avanswell. Avanswell. That's what it was. It was Avanswell.
You're welcome. I figured it out.
Thank you. Again, I write these things down, and then I forget what I said when time goes by. Avanswell. So, Commander Avanswell's office, you will be able to kind of reach there, and Jonas will be like, kind of put out his hands and be like, wait. And then he'll like do like an equivalent of shaving the haircut. I don't know what it would be in this society, but it's the equivalent of that. Yes?
Secret knock.
Can I help you? He's kind of put his arms out like to you, like, you know, for you to respond.
It is Ixbanor. We are back with important news. I am accompanied by Jonas Quillick. And Eskret.
Please, come in. Please.
And Lord Eskret? Yeah, Lord Eskret. Okay.
Lord Eskret, thank you very much. The three of you will head in, and she will be obviously like, she'll kind of come over to you and pick you up off of Eskret and very gently, like, kind of like give you like a little, like, you know, squishy hug, but you're like very tiny, so it's very hard. And then she'll kind of like put you back down and kind of brush yourself off, and then give like a dirty look at Jonas, who's probably not realizing what's going on because he's kind of drunk. But you know, probably giving a different kind of look, but you know, assumptions.
Yep.
What happened?
Okay.
When even the closest individuals didn't come back a few days ago, we were worried that no one would return.
There are a lot of them.
So the enemy does mount an assault.
There was a camp about about a few hours walk from what was the other town name?
You would estimate it's about a day's journey, I would say.
Yeah,
from here.
about a day's journey from here. There was a camp, and that was a day ago.
What of the people to the north?
We rescued 3 of them.
Good.
But that is all we could. That's all. That's all we found. And well, no, that's not true. There were more, but something happened. Something's been happening.
Please explain.
So they've been in the time we can only assume that the entire time things have been quiet. What is there like a name for like the group of people like besides
Dread
the Dread
Army?
Army? Like okay, I'll just say the Dread Army. Like,
I
I don't know if there's like a name for the people of the Dread Army, but you know.
They tend to just be referred to as that because it is a mixed band of many different races.
Yeah.
Yes, goblinoids tend to be the heaviest number, but there's plenty
There's
of
orcs, trolls, and yeah.
Orcs, trolls, a number of actually no trolls. Actually, trolls weren't banished because trolls never were a lot in number and tended to be over in this region. So trolls still kind of exist, but mostly they are farther to the east. Into that giant continent of death that's to your east, you know.
Got it. Yeah.
Kind of
Anyway,
like where orcs didn't go there either because they were living here before the entire conflict here came about, and that was the banishment happened before the kind of encounter. Hey, time on. They do.
Yep. The Dread Army has been set up experimenting on people.
That's disturbing.
The people we met in town were subjects of these experiments. There were only a few of them, though. 3 to be precise. Everyone else was gone, dead, taken. There were a lot of people in the laboratory, though, which we did find.
2 laboratories.
Yeah, but I'm focusing on the... There are a few others, but there was one big one.
Which tells me someone's doing experiments. Most likely is the Master Vivisector. The Plainlands reports said he was dead. They managed to slay him. One of the few generals of the Dread Army we know we've managed to stop. I guess that's hoping for too much if he's still alive. According to some rumors, this is the first time he's done experiments.
It seems like they were trying to merge people with beasts and allow for some sort of transformation to I'm worried about infiltration, honestly.
So you're saying that the attempt to merge people with beasts is just a preliminary, and you think they're going to merge them with their own people?
Perhaps, once it's a little bit safer?
Is there a test for this kind of thing?
Well, the best I could say is not that I could find. I could try to see if there's one. I could do some research. We have some journals and stuff, which we haven't fully deciphered yet, so maybe that could help.
All right. I'll get you on that. I may have someone that might be able to help, and if you need a guard, would help out too. Not that I have anything against your fellows here. Talas is pretty well strong. But a little bit of expertise on some materials. We don't have a lot of expertise on alchemical or herbal materials outside of a few within the clergy, and unfortunately most of them don't feel deal in the depths that you're getting into, and some of the stronger stomach. And I know someone now that we've met a couple days ago. Alright. We'll let them rot a little longer, but I guess it's time. Come with me. Jonas! Ah! He's kind of like dozing off in a chair. Sober your ass up, and then meet us back here. Will do. Sorry.
It's fine. He got me to you. That.
She will take you downstairs and down into where they have the Briggs, and kind of move over to this one and kind of like hit the side of the thing and be like, Calder, wake up!
What was going on?
Well, seems I have a job for you to make up for the fact that you broke in and tried to take some of the materials and weapons. You can, rather than just, I'll give you an option. You can either rot down here, or you can help out my two furry friends here. We have more problems than you to deal with.
Guess I don't have much of a choice then.
Calder's an expert in some of the alchemical materials. He's one of the few people that can master firearms and gunpowder. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough supplies to make things like that. Not since the Thingmans fell. People of his expertise are rare nowadays. As much as I'd like to throw the book at him, he's more useful in other ways.
Well, I'm Ixbanor. It's nice to meet you.
There is both of these things would be rare in this region. Ysoki, ratfolk, and a talking ferret on its shoulder. Like, again, it doesn't feel quite outside of it, because you probably know of Ysoki, but, it's like, it would be probably fairy tales of intelligent rodents, and stuff like that.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Catch up. Fill him in on some of the basics. And then, catch your others. Meet me back in my office. Let the guards know you're free to come and go. She's going to leave me. Free to me.
If you must know, I am the former familiar of a great arch-wizard who died in the war. Who died at the hands of the Dread Army.
And you can talk somehow?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, guess I'll take that at face value.
I mean, look, there may have been some sort of forbidden ritual involved, but, it's fine. I'm fine.
Never been big on magic. So there's a job or something?
Yeah, I guess you're supposed to help us research a way to tell if people are, evil mutant creatures in disguise?
Oh, great. Alright. Guess I got my work cut out for me.
You have no idea, sir. You have no idea.
Is there... I assume you have a team of some kind? Any notes, research?
We just got back from, raiding one of their laboratories. Raiding might be a strong word. Stealing from. That's probably... Yeah, I'll go with that.
accidental infiltration.
Accidental.
It was
Fumbling like Mr. Bean style through the whole facility.
We literally found our. If you're wondering, we literally found our way to a like a body chute that they use to transfer like dead bodies and stuff.
my
And we
God.
fell down it. So,
And we killed everyone down there.
It's
Well,
just
and
you
we're
also
fine.
realized that it was like a skull. What you
skeleton.
didn't realize, hey, that big army that showed up in the town you were in, that large group of people, guess where they came from? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I kind of
I
figured that
realized
one.
that. Yeah, I mean,
Sam.
Mhm.
Oh Lord.
So.
we also might want to tell her about that possible teleportation area.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how the guy probably escaped death.
Well, yeah. There's a weird that whole portal thing. I
Yeah.
will. Can we say I told her about that?
Sure. They can. She can look into it. It's definitely a thing that is probably
Some
a
kind
little
of shadow
outside.
plane portal.
She can send some messages back towards the capital in hopes that there's someone there that understands this kind of thing, or can detect
Yep.
these kind of things.
Yeah, but
Again, traveling
'Cause-
to the shadow plane has been lost for a long time. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence why my family got stuck here.
yeah.
yeah.
Your
I mean,
ancestor
that's-
got stuck here a couple thousand years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's how he escaped as much as how they might be getting around. That means there's other places they can come from or go to.
Right, but what I meant was, that she said that there was rumors that the guy had died. Maybe, it was in a
We
building
discovered-
that had one of these things, and he got out through that,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
that's why he's not dead.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the remaining forces of the dwarfs will be kind of angry that they didn't murder him, because it was kind of one of those things as, hey, we managed to kill these number of people at the fall of our homeland and destruction of it, damn it. One of those kind of things. We sacrificed half our people for this. Damn, particularly more than that. But anyway. So, as you can kind of meander yourself upstairs, one of the guards will approach you. Is like, "Do you know these two? I mean, one of these guys is a little familiar. I believe I've seen Orc Man there, but the strange dark one, which seems to be mumbling to himself, seems a little different than I've seen, and I kind of am spooked by him, and also I feel as though there's a cold wind chill.
They're with us, yes.
Great. I'm
We
going
are
to leave
the
now.
Magnificent Misfits. Lord Eskret's, probably.
On my own, I do not consider myself Lord Eskret's anything.
So you're just the marvelous misfits, eh? All right.
Yes.
Great.
I find his lordness dubious
Uh,
at best.
He's gonna, the guard will kind of turn away and leave, and you'll hear him under his breath is like, "Should have let these guys name themselves."
Hello, new guy?
We're releasing him from prison because he might be able to help us.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Great. So now we got a rat who calls himself a lord and and a con. Got it.
Con is a strong word. It's accurate, but it's a strong word.
Or ancestry? Human, okay.
Mhm.
Saw that was on your sheet.
Anyway.
Oh, strange times.
Strange times indeed.
Talas will kind of turn to you and say, like, I will need to check in at the Lord Mayor's house. If there's anything you need from me, let me know. And I'll be ready to assist if you need a call on. I should probably check in there.
Will do. We're probably gonna get some sleep because we've been marching all day, and hopefully there's no army at the gate in the morning.
Indeed.
I'm sorry, what?
And I assume I feel like I said that in front of the soldier, and the child's probably like, "What?"
The guard isn't far enough away that he's not overhearing this too. You know, he's like over there. He like watches this area. He's like, "What?"
To the who?
We'll get you up to speed, but we have been marching for most of the day. I think we could use some rest.
Fair enough.
Also, Ixbanor, I did tell the healers to alert us if there's any change in her condition.
Good to know.
Now, I guess are you heading for the local tavern with your updated crew? Talas, of course, will head back to Lord Matters since he's a seneschal of the mayor. You know, it's sort of like kind of on lend to you guys, but he's ready to help out if needed again. The elder orc man will depart you. Eskret will also kind of depart himself to rooms. If you want to basically catch up and inform Calder of the story, I kind of want to play this out because I'm interested to what kind of hell summary would you guys give as you're getting like maybe drinks and food.
Well, first before I entered the inn, most of the party's used to this. I am going to let Shadow out and let him go forage for his own food.
To let him out of your skin.
Yeah. So you see my bat tattoo come off of me and gain form of its own and fly away.
Is that like a skin condition? Is that just normal?
He is my friend.
I think it's like a familiar. That's the best I got.
I have a few spirits that follow me. He's currently the one who has form.
You do notice it's strangely cold, and there's whispers in you. No, I don't know about the whispers, but there's strangely cold near this fetchling man.
Mm-hmm.
If I activate the other one, I'm strangely hot.
Calder's wearing like a large like welding mask, but he's definitely side-eyeing you.
Look, he's quintessential goth, you know, us Umbrin.
Naturally.
Naturally.
I'm not a vampire. I'm just Alton Goth. You wouldn't understand.
I work at Hot Topic.
God. You really would. You would be the guy working at Hot Topic. Alright. Well, local store is, hopping a little bit, though, you'll easily all notice there seems to be more rumors going around about, like, the Dread Army soon attacking. Like, it's one of those things there always kind of would be, like, a tension in the air. It seems though the tension's been risen up in the kind of, like, maybe hour you've been here, by, like, a couple of notches.
I'm gonna lean over to, Ixbanor. That might be my fault.
I mean, I really didn't tell anyone except... Yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
I did let it slip at the, to one of the priests, because he asked how we found her.
Well, word's gonna get out. Word's gonna get out probably by tomorrow. So you only accelerated it by probably a few hours.
Word about what?
So there may be an army coming, the Dread Army.
The Dread Army. We found them building an encampment about a day's walk from here.
Saying this in that cell was a mistake.
Across the table.
Starting to think I should have just stayed in the cell.
Honestly, probably better you're not, so that way you can run away, because they don't take prisoners.
As we're talking about this, I pull out my tarot deck.
All right, and I assume you have a plan to deal with this?
Or Harrow deck, sorry, not tarot.
Same thing, basically.
Yeah, same function.
Oh, by the way, the deck is made of fine bone.
I forget that your goddamn deck is so goddamn creepy. Until you mention it every time.
Yeah, my whole thing though is like, man, you can only get bone so thin before it's like impossible to like handle. So like, it's like that deck must be gigantic. Yeah.
I have a special Harrow carrying case for it.
That's one chunky deck.
Limited edition.
Don't ask where I got the bones.
Is that Harrow deck part of the plan, or what's the goal here? Surely you have something.
Well, we got back with information. As for what we're going to do next, well,
we're awaiting orders.
I mean, we were told to do some things. We were told to see if we can figure out how to tell if there may be people walking among us.
Well, the only one that we know that was definitely transformed by them and survived, other than the poor creatures that we found in Amber, was the one guy who was disfigured. So, unfortunately, anyone who shows any odd disfigurements...
I don't think that's enough.
I'm just saying could be a possibility. That's all we know right now.
You say that, but did you not get the idea that maybe his family also was, and they didn't have the same reaction?
It's a possibility they were, or they just wouldn't leave him.
Possible.
I mean, he did still have a semblance of his actual self. He had some restraint.
He did, but I think that I worry that they're closer to perfecting it than we think they are, I don't think he's been around for a while. I do not think he is a recent experiment.
Well, remember, the two brothers said that he had been disfigured before, but the way we described him sounded like it got more pronounced.
Not just more pronounced, but exceptionally exaggerated.
Yes. So there could basically, if someone is an oddity of their species, it might be a red flag, is what I'm saying. But
going with that will only cause problems. I don't think that's a good.
I'm saying from what we know now. Well, we need the subject to be able to do a test.
That is true too. Should have taken samples while we were there. Dang it.
I mean, wait, is it still alive?
We ran.
Well, Gregor,
you just left it.
Gregor, well, there was a lot of other things happening at the time. But yes, Gregor, he was nice. He helped us get out. when there was a lot of stuff starting to happen all at the same time. Goblins started to pour into the town. He helped us escape. Kind of.
All right.
So there seems to be...
We also found a lab of a lot of different experiments. I mean, you did take samples of some of this alchemical stuff that was there.
Yeah, but I didn't take any biological samples, which I now realize is dumb. I should have.
There were all these nice jars with horrible things in them.
Which we destroyed.
Yeah.
Did we?
Do you remember where it is?
I thought we destroyed some of
Oh, in the first place, yeah, Eskret did destroy them all.
them. Yeah.
Second place, you did not.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but it's deep behind enemy lines.
How did...
Well,
forgive
might be
me
able
if
to
I'm
get
not
back there.
understanding the course of events. How did you make it in there without, dying?
secret body hole.
Yes, there was a trap slide under a floor that opened up, and we got slid down.
So early on, we discovered there were tunnels underneath the town of... What was it?
Creston Mine.
Creston Mine, thank you.
Yes.
Under the town of Creston Mine, we discovered there were tunnels. The town was otherwise deserted. We, after investigating a little bit more and finding out about the goblins, we tried, and the goblins then, or the Dread Army then kind of started to pour into town. Gregor told us to run, and then we ended up getting underneath and running through the tunnels, and apparently there was a way to deliver people, I'm guessing, live or dead, I don't know, probably both, to the lab through those tunnels, and we ended up falling down into that hole.
Well,
Question out of game for a second.
Sure.
I just pieced this together, and I'm pretty sure if this is true that Ixbanor might have would have pieced it together.
Mm-hmm.
The dude we saw kind of in command of our friend, we found that library, and and the guy looked like, you said, you're the guy who slew your master.
Yeah.
Does that mean the guy who slew your master was this
Vivisector?
Ellen Randall Darolak, Master Vivisector, is indeed the one that killed Ixbanor's master.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
So the Vivisector is the... Okay, I wasn't certain yet that they were the same person.
They are the same person.
I just thought about it, I'm like, wait, if he appeared in town, and then we found that the laboratory there with books that came from your master.
Effectively, you would have known that he was about that, just for probably in the interim since your master died. I would tell you. Basically.
Also, I only got down Drawluck. What'd you say his first name was?
I will give you it, and I'll spell it here in chat because Randall.
Odd spelling.
Nah, it's not too bad, but I want to make sure to get it. Randall. Yes. Drolic. Masterpiece.
Oh, 2 A's. Okay.
I just wanted to point that out because I think Hedwig would have put that together.
You mean
Or Hedwig, sorry. Ixbanor.
Gave me another character. How dare thy?
Not another furry wizard that he plays.
No, that's a feathery wizard. Thank you very much. It's entirely different.
Well, true.
Also, I'm a sorcerer in this.
Okay, animalistic magic person. How's that?
Thank you. So, just as a quick kind of thought, in kind of what you would know about, when the battle against the Dread Army began, the Dread Lord had 13 generals. As far as you know, probably 6 of them were dead. And this is before some updates. You did not know about the rumors about Dracovin being dead. Which means there might be more that basically there were only 7 generals left by the time the Thanelands was being invaded, basically. By the time the eastern part of the continent was being invaded and the west had fallen. 7 of the generals had fallen. You are not sure of which remain completely. So that is information you do not necessarily have. But Dralek still being alive, it appears that maybe the dwarves of the Thanelands were pretty successful in some of their campaigns, you know. But these are like, as much as the Dreadlord is this mythological force of like absolute power, these are all like incredibly elite, powerful beings in and of themselves that are mixed bag of basically horrible. You know, rumors on Dralek is that he creates horrible monstrosities out of his troops. Basically loves to experiment on things. You know, the very thing that he was doing here.
Yeah.
But now you have a kind of idea of what he may have been doing. Or some of the experiments he was working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. I honestly, I just didn't have a concrete reason to feel there was a connection, but yeah, that was definitely something I thought might be the case.
Mm-hmm. I had not specified it before.
Yeah.
I forgot to.
It just all arrows pointed to that. It just clicked in my head. I'm like, oh wait.
Yes.
that's why I didn't like bring it up yet, because I wasn't certain. But if my character would know, because if I knew about how Dralek worked or something, or looked into him in the past or something.
He probably would have at least kept an eye out, because, you know, he was responsible for that. He hear about rumors or stuff going on with it.
Yeah, I thought there was just a chance he was either the Vivisector or working closely with the Vivisector. That was basically the assumption I was running. But yeah, okay. Yeah, so after...
I was just like, you would assume that Dralek is level of like Archmages and Master ones, just to let you know.
Okay.
But they seem very at least evenly matched spell-wise that way.
Yep.
Which is no bueno.
Yeah.
So anyway, we do have some research stuff. I mean, I guess if we really wanted to, we can try and sneak back to get some physical samples. But I do have samples of the lab, the alchemical supplies they used.
I think you have you have supplies from both laboratories you raided, because you found the abandoned one, and then you stumbled on the main one.
And we have stuff to make that amber stuff.
You do. You can totally alchemically preserve someone in a horrible state of perpetual life in amber.
Let's not.
We don't know how to get them out without hurting them, though.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it would be amazing if I could pull that on Dralek.
Pokeball him.
And just as a detail, the body chute probably was intended to throw wounded living things down there for processing. They probably weren't meant to be dead. What was left in there was probably things that died on the way down.
Yeah, that was more honestly my thought. Like, I kind of figured they were supposed to be alive, but I'm like, probably sometimes dead. You know?
Yeah. There was a lot of nice flesh chunks in that place at the bottom.
I just kind of figured they didn't care. They'd nab someone. If they ended up killing them, they probably wouldn't pay attention and just chuck them down there anyway. You know?
That's accurate. Anyway, before the conversations continue, why do not we take our break then? Because we've reached about our midway point. That sounds like a great place before we dive into it. And I should probably move you all back to like the,
Oh yeah, the tokens got mixed up with the names.
Yeah.
Main town there. Activate. There you go. There's a nice little town square set with woods. Very nice looking. Much better than the random forest area. Alright, so if everybody needs a bathroom break, snack, a drink, anything like that, go ahead and take care of those, and we'll be back in a little bit. I will be on our... Anyway, alright, we are back. Now that I'm remembering stuff, I'm gonna go over to this music thing, which is called so here's some nice little bit background around the city.
Music, yay!
Alright. I really need, like, you're drinking in a bar and discussing horrific, like, things and plans music. I don't have that right now, so enjoy this for now. Alright. So you're discussing plans in the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Quietly in a bar.
So
Quietly in the
we're
bar,
in a-
so as not to alert anybody. Yes,
So we were in a, so we were in these labs. We found our way there accidentally, and we found some goblins worshiping the Dreadlord. There was also some kind of self-flagellation stuff, and that occurring with that. But we also then found that they were doing experiments on people, freezing them in resin of some kind. Which were the experiment and result of their experiments. Most of them they were trying to merge with, like, creatures? But we're suspecting it's possible they might have tried to do something with other people as well.
Just to mention a note, in case you're forgetting, the abandoned laboratory was actually doing experiments with merging with people rather than animals. Basically.
Right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you saw notes about them returning that back. You just didn't see any evidence of that experiment back in the main place. So.
Yeah. No, there were notes on that there was some successful things in the small lab. The big lab had mainly, like, animals merged with creatures.
Yeah.
With people.
So my big thought is, to what end? They could have just marched on the final cities. They had the power, as far as we were aware.
Noting also, as far as your kind forces are, you are outnumbered, but not by so much that you would be an absolute victor currently. That's the kind of word in amongst the military. They are positive, but also know it's an uphill fight against the remaining forces of the Dread Army. And the current, again, this is something you know Ixbanor. The current, because again you were working with the military a little bit, volunteering to help out before you joined this force. The majority of the army has been assembling at the capital of Avanswell. Where you're at, you aren't supposed to survive, basically. You're supposed to basically alert when they're there and hold them off long enough, maybe doing enough damage to allow the main force back in Avanswell to have victory.
Yeah. We're the preliminary, hey, short stopgap measure, we're all gonna die, but it might be we can defeat the army because of that. And also maybe get a runner out to the capital to let them know, hey, it's coming.
Yeah. So, definitely in amongst the military, they don't necessarily hold high that they will survive, but it's sort of like the majority of the military that's here is probably more like, yeah, we'll die hero's death, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They've probably spent the latter part of a couple of, like, at least a year prepping for this, so, like, the citizens, probably not so much, but at very least the military people you've been hanging around with Ixbanor are ready for it. Kind of why they called upon the volunteers, because they're like, we don't have enough people here. Turns out, when you're kind of on a half-suicide mission, not as many people want to join that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Shit. I don't want to either.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, odds are in our favors, I guess. We were the only ones who went out and survived so far.
Alright, guess a
Which means you're
temporary
lucky to be
victory.
with us.
Is that what that's called?
What would you rather be with one of the dead groups?
I'd rather be not here.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's not an option for you at the moment.
Well, if no one does
Yeah.
anything, we're all going to be dead. So people need to pull their weight. That,
Yeah. Well, do we have a plan from here? What's the current moves?
the current move is to rest, but
Rest and
maybe,
do research.
yeah, maybe we can
Right.
study the materials we found and see if we can't find something.
Alright.
Well, you can all enjoy a night's rest after a fairly long day for most of you, and a very probably uncomfortable day for the other one of you. Basically, jail cell at the bottom of a fortress is probably not a great place to rest up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, get a nice bed. So in the morning, what is your plan?
Get my daily crafting done real quick.
Cool.
Let me
And then
hit the rest
reconvene.
button to gain my spell back.
Ooh.
Whee.
Then I'll reconvene with my quote-unquote handlers for now.
Well, what can we assist you with, Ixbanor? Because you're the one who understands this stuff best.
We need to read the journal we found.
Mm-hmm.
So... Oh, yeah, we also got the officer's book. Right, that was a little different. That was something that was different. Because that was in the officer barracks, or that was in the barracks rather than
Yes.
the lab.
Mm-hmm. You did find a journal from what appears to be the officer's quarter in the barracks. If you want to, you can look through that journal. It is written in a very sloppy hand, but it is written in Goblin. If anybody speaks that. Goblin.
I do.
Yes, I think we all speak Goblin.
Okay.
Yes.
They are kind of like the approaching doom, so you kind of want to learn the language a little bit, you understand what's going on. Also, technically out in this region, there are some remnants of the Goblin people, those that stayed with the dwarves. Wardlands is a great place to live when you don't have a place anywhere else in the continent. Was that way in the first place? Anyway, the journal basically outlines the general gist of what was going on. There are probably portions that are missing from the entire plan, but it seems that the force was assigned to watch after Commander Dralik and his experiments. The officer does seem to give complaints about the horrible nature of the experiments, but would rather commit them than face the wrath of Dralik himself. And it is all for their lord. That kind of thing. It's like, well, I don't really feel great about, doing these horrible, inhumane experiments to these people, but,
Better them than me.
better than me, and honestly, it's for our, in quotation, greater good,
Yeah.
There is some mention of something in there that refers to the Black Citadel. It's not familiar. but there's some mention of it in response to that, or in connection to the gateway that you know about, that you found there. It does seem as though they had established about a half dozen interim experimental bases, and the journal also indicates that at very least 4 of them were shut down. You found one of those. So there might be 2 others that were active. Anything else in the journal? I'm trying to think if there's anything else the journal would have for you in there. For my notes and stuff too. Well, do you have any other questions about like what you might find in there that I might be able to answer from the information? Because it is just, other than that, general kind of military stuff, movements, plans, things like that. It just seems as though it's like a personal notebook to keep an eye on, like, and keep organized thoughts more than anything.
Okay.
So a lot of the information there is like, basically sets of like orders and stuff like that and things like that. This information's in there, but it's very military coded.
Oh, word. Alright.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's any mention of spies or new troops or anything along that line.
Okay. There would be. Thank you for that. So, it seems as though the main creations of the area you were in when you found the journal were meant to be chimerical forces for the army. It seems as though there was some difficulty finding a way to transport them out of here. The idea being to basically let them loose on the battlefield, do a lot of damage, and they can come in afterwards. The horrible man-beast that they're creating.
Yeah.
The other thing is, mentions of Creston Mine does seem to be in the air. The Creston Mine, the mentioning of it, seems to be of the village guards have reported that most of the hunters have been captured for processing. There does seem to be a few holdouts, but none of which are estimated to return at any point soon. Keep a contact arriving with every couple of days to ensure that if any more show up, they are properly taken care of. Wouldn't want anybody slipping through the cracks and warning of our presence ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
The rest, unfortunately, probably isn't in here because this guy's not privy to probably a lot of the more details of the experiments and stuff like that.
But it implies that there was someone in town keeping watch. That could have been Gregor, it could have been one of his family members, or it could have been someone else who we did not see.
Sure.
Or someone who wasn't there at the time. Because Gregor definitely would have known about them, though.
Yes. And Gregor does give some information here and there, but again, like...
He was being very cryptic and very... he was clearly afraid of something.
Mm-hmm.
Was saying too much. Like, that was kind of obvious.
And and when you last saw him, his body was undergoing some kind of horrible mutation more than it had already been in. He didn't really stay around to find out what was happening.
No, because there was another person there, also known as the Vivisector.
He has a pleasant title, doesn't he?
Yep. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna start going through... Okay, so we stole a bunch of books. Problem was, is I probably didn't take note of this at the time. my thought was like, okay, actually, I might have noticed. Were there any that were out, or were they all on bookshelves?
In the little library?
Yeah.
Books you stole
Were
from
there
the
any,
library
on a little table, or
no,
or
those
they
were all on
bookshelves?
shelves at the time.
Okay.
From there.
Because yeah, I just wanted to see because like if there were any out, that might give a better indication of something.
I'd
but-
say, honestly, because you kind of took a little bit of time to look through that library, the books in that library may involve what you're looking into indirectly. That was basically like a rare magical research library, you know?
Yes, I mean I kind of assumed that much, like, but yeah, I wouldn't give us an idea of how to do it, just that it's on the topic.
Yes.
Might
help you with some of the notes, maybe.
I'd probably look through the occult ones that we took.
Sure.
See if there's anything I can glean from those.
Yeah. If you're gonna spend some time, I can have everybody, if you're all working together, I can have each of you roll a check, and we'll kind of see what you all get. Kind of just going to be a little bit of like a skill thing. You can all choose a type of check that you're going to do. So let me know what kind of check the result you got.
Well, I guess I'll probably...
Occult for you, Umbrin?
Occult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't I take a bit of that residue that I never was able to identify from the town, from that cauldron?
Yes. You did take weird residues from multiple places, actually, so it's hard to say.
Am I able to use crafting here?
So...
You're the crafter, so you could tell me.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, identifying alchemy is a crafting check. Reading stuff would be a recall knowledge check, which I think can be done with crafting.
It depends on the reading material, typically.
Yeah.
Some of this would be reading material that a crafting for recalling knowledge check would apply to.
Okay.
Go ahead and you can roll.
Alright. I'll use crafting.
I'm gonna put it at. I will put things at standard DC for this one, which would be we'll say that'd be 20 for your level because you're level 5 now. Ooh.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, there's also a decipher writing check. That's fun.
Brenda.
Woo!
Really good check there. Pretty good check on Umbrin.
So
what do you want to go for?
Let's go for Arcana just to mix it up.
Sure. Wow. Very good check from Ixbanor.
Actually,
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm also actually going to do cast this.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It should heightened. This is heightened to 3rd. So I
you're
get a
using
plus
pocket
2.
library.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Just in case that gets me to a an exceptional.
All right. So, the three of you will kind of pore over the notes for the next couple of hours, kind of like looking in a combination of the books you had and the stuff that you managed to acquire from a number of sources there, including the main laboratory, where you grabbed a few things from there, but of course the secondary abandoned laboratory, where there was a number of papers and stuff there. And take you some time to like decipher things and look through stuff, but certainly speaking, Umbrin, your occult knowledge will be helpful to give little tips and traits there. And Calder, it's one of those things is your kind of diving to alchemical tends to be for much more practical matters, but the thing is you have a basics for it. And as you're kind of looking deeper, you're beginning to understand some of this stuff, so you're picking up on extra things. And it's certainly like Ixbanor is like kind of pointing stuff out, and also then using his arcane knowledge. So sort of like the two of you are kind of pulling off of each other. So it's sort of like you're working together, and then occasionally Umbrin will kind of chime in and kind of put something in there. And you can kind of decipher what was going on here. It does seem as though the basic technique was the same either way. They were basically trying to find a way to merge two beings together. on the simplest note, that was successful in creating these kind of hybrid animal creatures, these chimerical creatures that tended to have a humanoid as a basis, but the process was meant to more or less destroy most of the soul, mind of the humanoid portion of things. The idea was to keep a lot of the more deeper intelligence of the humanoid, to make the creature a little bit more fearsome that way. Rather than just making a general chimerical beast by combining a couple things for best abilities, hey, let's make it that it also has humanoid-level intelligence.
They basically
Vicious
want to
and
destroy
smart.
the personality of the human, but keep the intelligence of the human.
Yes. That was the general idea of it. And so then they were developing a new technique, which was an idea to create these infiltration beams, where it would be made very similar. Except the idea was rather than to hybridize, it would basically be like, in the case of the other creatures, basically compress the being they're sending into the other one, almost, alchemically, kind of replace the core of the other being, and keep it in there. And then, as long as certain levels of alchemical material was applied to them, theoretically, it could keep them in this kind of, like, preserved state inside of the other target. It would require the laboratory to do, it's not just something you could do. But basically, if you think about probably the poor man that you met, Gregor, probably you're assuming because of his own natural malformation, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, not as well as the others. So basically what you were seeing was probably some other creature inside him straining to break its way out. And also, you do get the feeling that not all of his mind was destroyed in this process, like it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if it was successful, you know, as far as you know,
able to hold himself back.
Yeah, it would have just appeared as, like, a normal person until, you know, effectively either they would stop taking a alchemical drug for a period of time, or, you know, theoretically with a kind of almost muscular twitch, they could undo it, but it would be probably kind of painful, gruesome, you know, the outer shell would probably burst apart in a part of a shower of gore, and the inner body, now there, would probably not be in great shape, as far as you can tell. But does it need to be if you're infiltrating something? You know? If you get people in behind the wall, so to say, and they burst apart from a flesh shell into a more battle-ready position, even if they're wounded, still could be pretty deadly, depending on what you're sending in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things like with Gregor kind of see that apparently it wasn't as successful as they wanted, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't successful at all.
Yeah.
It was a step in the right direction with him.
Yes. As far as you can tell, at very least, with the materials from the secondary lab where they were focused on this more, that was retired, they had been mixed bag at success. You assume by some of those notes as you kind of decipher them that what they were talking about is probably Gregor was processed there. And so basically, poor Gregor had some kind of creature, maybe a goblinoid, maybe something else, stuffed in his body and was basically fighting with him constantly. But he was basically probably barely himself.
That sucks.
Yeah. And who knows about his family? That you couldn't tell.
I mean, they were pretty, weird, so I kind of assumed they were...
The wife wasn't that weird. It was the kid that was giving off really creepy vibes.
Are you kidding? The wife was also super weird.
Is it that bad?
She was all like, it's so... She was like, oh, it's wonderful being here. We love it here with Gregor.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Maybe I was just too focused on the kid because she was giving me major creeps.
I mean, you were trying to figure out if she saw if she knew where dead bodies were hidden. So.
Yeah, well, she was playing like hide the bodies.
Jesus, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So if their personality was properly destroyed, the creature put into them would be able to control them, basically.
Yes. Though it does seem as the process here was... It was still meant to be like... Whatever was controlling their body would be able to sort of read their memories. It wouldn't be perfect as far as you could tell. So sort of like... Here's the thing that you could probably do if you knew someone that really knew someone and they kind of interrogated them, you might be able to find some weirdness that like would tell you, oh, hey, this person doesn't really know stuff. That's kind of not a great way of telling it, but again, they weren't 100% successful. It was probably more like 25, 30% successful, you feel like, in their experiments.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it seems like the failures result in the death of all parties. So, you know. You do have to have volunteers from your military force.
Well, not necessarily volunteers.
Well, volunteers, but it could be volunteer. It could be volunteer under duress, but that's still kind of a volunteer.
Do this or outright die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to report...
There was one thing. They did not do part of an experiment, and it is important to note. They figured that their technique did not work if the creatures were the same species, for whatever reason.
Oh.
It was incompatibility. So they, unfortunately, because the majority of things they captured were human, they had to use their military force for the experiment. It also means they couldn't use their own forces for the experiments, too.
Yeah.
But there did seem to be
why
some
would
form
you
of...
use your own force to infiltrate?
Your own
Well,
forces?
for experimentation
Yeah, I mean-
purposes, you can. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
experimenting putting a goblin into a troll,
Goblin?
you know,
Yeah.
is something you could do, but it's just why... Yeah, so...
I'm gonna
There's a difference
insert
between using
Bob
2
into
members of your
all
military
here.
force and 1, too, also,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's the other thing, too. Where it's just like... but that's just, like, literally killing off your troops to hopefully... beat a force that's, you know, it's
Well, that's
like...
probably why they started with animals first.
Yeah, putting animals into people.
Yeah.
Because
It seems as though the
okay, now
chimerical...
we're not-
Yeah.
Sorry.
The chimerical technique is something that has been apparently well developed by the Vivisector, as far as you can tell. Probably in some of his more known battles, he's used something similar in basically his inhuman experiments. He's just been developing it the entire time. So that he's good at. Not a lot of problems there. Create horrible man intelligence, or humanoid intelligence, alchemical beasts that he can unleash.
Which, I mean, that makes sense to start with that because you're only sacrificing an enemy and a random creature. You're not sacrificing your troops right away.
Yeah.
But, you know, militarily, you can probably figure there is probably good reason for the infiltration.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a difference between a siege and open gates.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely a reason to do it. But I'm saying to start it, it makes sense to start with
Yeah.
doing it with animals and then go to intelligent creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I will basically report, so what I'll report basically is, I mean, I'll give them as much information as I can, but I'm also going to emphasize that it seems that the people who are infiltrators would have to take continual supplements, which is probably the best way to figure out who they might be.
Ooh. Okay, so I guess that would be probably a great way, is you can search people for supplements. And then, if you really didn't trust people, you probably estimate it would be like between 2 and 3 days that they required before things would break down of the process.
Okay.
That's still a little while.
So worst case, you can quarantine people for 3 days. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could also during the quarantine, like have someone who does know them, question them on issues that would only that person would really know.
The problem is they get their memories. They are able to access the memories of their host.
But he said it's kind of limited. He said, I thought
it's not perfect.
Yeah.
From the testing, it does seem to be imperfect, and you got the feeling. Again, you guys rolled pretty damn well. They probably weren't focusing on that. The idea would be a passing, know enough to get like a C. You don't really need to go perfect. You just have to get behind enemy lines, kind of thing. You don't have to be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
You need to know enough to just pass. Not an interrogation, just pass. Hi, I'm Bob. Oh yeah, how you doing, Bob?
You do know that this probably would not be detected by any kind of magical detection because it's an alchemical thing, and and it would be at very most, it'd be like being a magical beast. They don't really detect it magical. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so basically, and actually, I might even throw in that it seems to be less effective on those with deformities.
If you got something wrong with your body, less effective. Congratulations.
Okay,
so
here's a random question that could make a difference. Would the alchemical substance that they have to take to keep them alive show up in any kind of testing of their blood or something?
Ooh, if they're not intending to remain that way for a large number of days, that's what you're saying. So basically, yeah, because
Okay, I'm gonna step in and just say help you out. Is that even if that's possible, developing a test for that is actually its own giant process.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to also think out of the box of other ways that we might be able to detect it. That's all.
The thing is, it's sort of
they could research into. It's not.
I assume you're bringing this to the commander.
I assume we're kind of all there and kind of discussing this.
So she'll kind of be like, "That's all well and good if we get, let's say, other people like yourself coming back." Looking at you, Ixbanor, I'm like, I assume basically because of your form, and you would have known if any of them were replaced, so that kind of eliminates the group of you. And there's been plenty of people that have been in the city and haven't left it, and it seems as though people that are coming in and such.
Any new arrivals?
The problem is,
how long was Calder in a cell? He might actually be pretty safe too.
the fact is that without any appropriate tests, we in a way have to suspect everyone, or suspect that we are compromised. Are you sure there isn't a way to do some form of test to see if we have anybody in town that would be infiltrated? Some kind of detection?
That's why I was asking about the blood.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just not sure how. Just need to.
Time-consuming it's going to be
to
develop that.
Also to test everyone. But theoretically, yes.
I don't know how to... This is going to be difficult. I'm going to figure out a way to address the soldiers and have them on guard without having them suspect their neighbors. a dozen such individuals breaking into this place could spell disaster without us realizing. And the fact is, as you say, they aren't very successful. They don't need to be very. That worries me greatly.
Get a few people in, and that's it. Especially depending on how high up they are.
Well,
we keep track of who's... Well, go ahead.
If we could find some kind of reagent they'd have an adverse reaction to, you could put that into the town's water supply, I suppose. And just not tell anybody. Adverse but controllable.
But I think that we would need a sample. We would need a subject to test on to find out what is adverse to them.
No. We could make our way back to, I guess, wherever you two went last time. Sneak in and drag one out.
That is possible. We may also be able to find some more information, or not information, but some more, we may also be able to collect more samples of the chemicals they use to see if any are easily detectable.
Would be good.
Only thing is, the only ones we saw in there were the animalistic ones. We need to be able to knock them out for a decent period of time to transport them back.
That shouldn't be an issue.
I mean...
Or, we could take one of the ones in resin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There are some that are already kind of preserved. You can just put them on a sled, or not a sled.
Yeah.
The resin ones
like a wagon?
Were not animalistic.
But we have resin. We could put one.
Oh, you're saying you could put one in resin? Yeah.
We'd get our hands on like a wagon or a cart or something, just drag it back.
Yeah.
That might be our best bet.
Well, you think infiltration is going to be successful?
Well, considering when we were there last, the majority of them have been moved to their forward camp. And we killed the skeleton crew that was there. As long as the main guy hasn't come back and fortified it, it wouldn't be too bad.
Part of the problem is they could attack at any time. They were literally a day's march away a day ago.
But they were building fortifications. It didn't seem like they were on the move yet.
They were building it in camp.
Yes. Which means they might be trying to get a decent size amount of people together first before starting attacks.
I assume they'd at least move a branch of their main forces. It sounds like this invasion's at least coming from Swervelines. I don't know how much forces they have in that area, but it should be a decent size they're bringing in. That's difficult terrain. It slowed them down in the first place. So I assume moving it out of that region and into ours is going to take some time.
Okay.
They've probably been already on the march, but if they're making a forward base now, we should assume that they are at most a week or two out.
They technically only started making the base 3 days ago?
True.
Yes.
Usually a base like that would take at least a week to put together fully and situate the way you want. And they'd want that prepared for their forces to arrive. So, if we've been working on it for 3 days, we at least have half a week and a half before the underestimation of a main force would arrive. Honestly.
With the new spell I've learned, we can move faster through the difficult terrain than they can.
Especially since we kind of have a better idea of where it is geographically now, because we had to kind of find our way out there the first time, but I assume finding our way back should be easier.
True. We just have to make it quick hit and run and get back here as quick as possible. Because we'll still need time to research.
Well, let's get a move on then.
Alright. You have a time limit now. I need you back here and figuring something out. We can't have... she's actually going to kind of pull out a map. The way the natural terrain is, they're going to either come from the north, or they're going to try to cross the bridge to the west. Now, we've set the bridge to collapse, but they have forces that could prevent us from activating that failsafe. That would leave our western flank open. I need to make sure everybody is accounted for. That's why it's critical here. Certainly speaking, I can keep some people, enough people here, especially since it sounds like the process is pretty difficult. And all my soldiers here are under my watch. None have really left long enough that I would have to worry about them, I don't think. I can check records.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean we've gathered the volunteers here that have been working with us and have infiltrated possibly there. I don't want to blame most of them, as they probably are just people like, well, the majority of you who came here to help us out.
I'm gonna say this. If anyone comes back besides us, you may want to detain them.
Yeah.
Put them in a quarantine for at least 3 days.
Quarantine, yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
We can ensure that there are no more infiltrators. We need to make sure you need to make sure there isn't anybody here. I'm not worried about the northern gate. I'm worried about the west. I can have my people making sure the northern gate is more secure.
We can, and when we get back, we're probably going to want to... You might want to be ready to test an important subset of people who you can then put on the bridge.
I'll get some people that I know have been here with me, check the records, and make sure we can kind of organize who's been around. We do have to worry about any kind of tampering with said records, too. It's going to be a mess, a nightmare.
Then we better leave as soon as possible, so we can get back here as soon as possible.
Yes.
Go to Jonas. Don't inform him too much about this stuff. He should be trustworthy, but... gotta make sure to check things.
I mean, technically, I've only told her about the potential infiltrators.
Yeah.
So, I did not tell Jonas. I just told him there was an army, an army approaching.
Tell him... Is there anything you need for your job? Because I can have him requisition a few things.
I mean, a few extra healing supplies, maybe?
That needs to be arranged. We might have a few magical items left around if there's something you particularly need. Give it a thought. You're going to have to grab Talas, I assume, and your little rat friend.
Yes.
Yes.
Leave as soon as you can. As I said, if you need to requisition anything, I'm sure we can get a set of healing potions.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. You've been there. You're the experts of this one. I'm reliant on you.
Yep.
We will do our best.
Right.
Yeah. After we leave, I will pull the rest of them aside and basically say, we do need to also consider the. I think it's a slim possibility, but we are going to need to test. Circean.
Cersei.
Yeah.
Basically, you're gonna have to test everybody important in town.
Yeah, we're gonna need to test her, too.
We're gonna need to test anyone with authority.
Well, I think it's important to get her out of the way because she can help us test everyone.
Yes.
She's the only one we've told, and we should keep it that way. But we also need to we do need to suspect her as well.
Fair enough.
Okay. You'll easily be able to find Talas.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be no sign of an Eskret.
Okay. Well, we can't really wait around.
Yeah.
We do not have that luxury of time.
Talas will agree. He'll be like, as much as we should perhaps wait, if we don't have time, we should probably just go.
Yes, time is one thing is not on our side right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's safe. We can help out here.
Honestly, yeah, so if we're gonna talk to... Okay, well, we should figure out what we might need and talk to Jonas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than healing, I can't really think of...
I mean, it'd be nice to get +1 robes. Just have a little bit more defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to commission, like, ferret-sized robes.
That's a very good point. They would not just have those. Never mind.
True.
Well, do magic items not resize in this system?
So okay, no. But technically, I wouldn't need I just realized I wouldn't need a +1 item. I would need a +1 rune, which I can then put on, because you can transfer a rune onto an object.
Sure.
But I think that does take some time.
It does. It takes downtime to transfer runes between items.
Okay, so.
I mean, I'm okay because I just got my +1 upgrade.
Yeah, you just. I know. So we'll probably have to hold off on that.
Yeah.
I can potentially commission it for the meantime, maybe. Someone to do it for me.
That's not a bad idea, if they could work on that while we're away.
What does that cost?
Just +1 armor or +1 resilient?
Just +1 currently. I don't think we're at the level for resilient.
I believe armor potency +1 is 160 gold.
Oh, that's totally doable.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not the most expensive thing in the world.
Okay.
That's what...
I'm guessing after we ask about requisitioning the healing potions, they're probably going to be at the medical place.
No. These are in your military base. Jonas can be like, what are you heading out again for? I'm worried about you since no one else has come back. He seems he seems sober now. Requisitioning things now too? What's going on?
We have been sent to, I mean, we're being sent out to see if we can't find...
directing us on a mission that we cannot speak about.
It's gonna kind of shake because Scratches had to be like, Are you sure?
It's very important.
Alright, well. What do you need?
Healing supplies is the most important.
Okay.
Also, we probably should sell...
How many rations do we have still?
Hold on, let me check, because I was the one carrying them all.
I know I have some on me. Let me check what I have.
4 days of medium rations, and then I still have 4 days of my rations.
I have.
Oh wait, actually, I just realized I should use 2 more of those because we did.
Oh yeah, I should actually.
Because basically, because I was feeding the people with us, so.
I have 7 days of medium rations.
Yeah, I have 7 days too.
My own.
So we should be good for right now.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that, you know.
I mean, it might be a good idea to buy some more. I mean, I don't need to buy more medium rations.
Well,
but I might
we also could try to commission, or just see if they can give us some.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, I'm gonna leave the resin substance here if possible.
Yes.
We want to take some of that with us because we might need.
Oh
to
right, we might want to in case. Never mind, I'm bringing it.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't need to take all of it. We could just take
Some of it.
like some of the, put it into some vials to use
No.
while we're there.
No, because you do need enough to cover someone. So it still wouldn't be vials, but maybe we don't need the 2 like 10-gallon buckets that I had.
That's what
Maybe,
I'm
like...
saying. Is we could break it down a bit.
Yeah. How much do you think we would need to cover a creature?
What are the properties
Back to
of
the
this
GM.
resin? Does it expand?
Ooh, it depends on the size of the creature. Like your 2
Medium.
buckets. You just got 2 buckets worth. That's probably enough for a medium-sized creature.
So we do need to bring
Okay.
it all.
We do
Yeah,
need to bring
because
it up.
it's like you mix the 2 together and it encases it. You know,
Oh,
it doesn't
so it's like the
expand
part
that
A,
much.
part B resin.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Also, remember we all. I did grab those evil robes for us.
I mean,
So
if
we
we
could all
need to
have-
sneak by, yes.
We could all just. I'm just saying. You might want to put that. Everyone might want to
What?
have that on the sheet. Basically, cult
Well,
robes.
I'm not
Alright.
going to. I can hide
yeah.
under someone's robes.
Yes.
But I'm not
Alright.
going to be wearing them.
So Jonas will go grab some stuff and come back, and he'll be like, "All right, here you go. Do have a few things here. Hopefully, this will be enough to help you out. I don't know what you're doing, but if you need healing potions, you're getting into some kind of trouble."
Oh, I will also offer. If this is any use for anyone, I will give some bear fur. Because I had a bear skin.
Just carrying that around.
Figured it might be useful for something.
Fair enough.
You could tan it, make armor out of it. You could bearskin
Yeah.
rug,
Yeah,
warm
true.
clothes. But I
True.
will offer that to offset some of the supplies we're taking. At least we're giving something back.
Yeah.
I was able to grab a few things, maybe help you out. I don't know how much all this will be helpful, but hopefully it will. He's gonna like kind of pull out like a thing, and he will have. It looks like a couple of pieces of gear and a set of potions. He will throw you, Umbrin, a staff. Here. Kind of been sitting downstairs, not really been able to use by most people. A little helpful.
Check it out.
Should be right here. It's a staff of healing.
Ooh,
That'll be
Just a bit.
very useful.
Yeah.
yes. I have a wand of healing. Now I have a staff of healing.
Just normal
Nice.
staff healing. We'll also give you a set of healing potions. These will be lesser potions of healing. You'll have 6 of them.
Okay, so we'll be up to... I'm going to just keep those in the group loot.
Mhm.
And we're going to be up to 11.
Nice.
These are my personal things, though, that, honestly speaking, originally I was thinking of using if I ever needed to get out of here. I was going to put 2 potions down. But honestly, the more I've been working here, the more I'm picking sticking around as much as I can. So, maybe you can help me. There are a little bit of unusual things that I picked up on my trips. This one here, he's going to tap. You need to deal with any of those guys out there. It sounds like they're coming. You might need this. Potion of Disguise. Hobgoblin.
Interesting.
Dwarven friend of mine, I got this from. He had a hobgoblin pal from some of the refugees that stayed after the big wall went up. No, there wasn't many of them. This is a kind of rarity you don't find much of nowadays. This one's a little more common, but wasn't quite my style. I like talking to people, but had it just in case. And I'll put another potion down and be like, invisibility potion. Use them wisely.
Thank you.
No, these would be useful.
I wasn't able to find much else that would, well, fit you a lot. It kind of, didn't look like any weapons or anything would help, per se. So, yeah. Just, well, grabbed a little bit of, these things. I think, you might know what these are. Kind of handing off what looks to be 6 things to you, Ixbanor. These appear to be 3 moderate blue bombs.
Okay. Okay.
3.
You needed some weapons or armor. I might have been able to find something more, but man, I don't know what you guys are getting up to. But if you're running out there now,
I'm just gonna do this because it's the easiest way to do it. Also, which version of the Potion of Disguise? Lesser or moderate?
it is a lesser.
Actually, wait. Okay, yeah, I just realized Lesser is item 5, so that's probably the one.
Yeah, it is. You have to be at the side, so it'd probably work on one of your medium people to turn into a medium hobgoblin. Otherwise, yeah, you don't want to be a tiny hobgoblin.
Yeah, that wouldn't fool anybody.
It would be hilarious, but would it fool anybody?
Maybe a tiny goblin, though.
True, but unfortunately, the potion is of a specific creature.
Oh, great, it is a hobgoblin. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the components use blood and hair of the creature that you want to turn into.
Oh, who took the potion? Did someone take the potion?
I didn't take anything.
I didn't.
Okay.
Weird. Might just want to put another one in there.
I am.
Strange.
They'll just be like, well, good luck, and if you need anything, please let me know. I don't know what you're
Also,
up
can
to,
we have
but-
identified those 2 potions? The strange and mysterious potion?
Where do you find them? Let me know to check my notes.
Okay, let me look. Potion.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just searching my notes for potion. Nope. 3 identified potions in room with hooks and pulleys, and then in the room afterwards we found 3 unidentified potions.
Hooks and pulleys. Oh, there. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So they basically are not potions, but I would call them more poisons.
Okay.
They basically are like paralytics, I would call them.
Nice.
So probably good to paralyze somebody in place before you do a horrible alchemical thing, and then seal them away and or process their body before you seal them away in a resin.
Yeah. Might be a poison that is like that, but
I do not know if there's a paralytic poison. We'll just call it a paralytic poison.
Okay.
We'll figure it out if we need to figure it. If you figure out a way to use it, it is an
Honestly, that's
ingested
going-
poison.
Oh, it's ingested. That's interesting. Okay, so it's
So you have to pour it into someone's cup or something.
God,
Yes.
okay. Because actually, I have some thoughts, but
Mhm.
because if we're gonna try and get one of those creatures, we could poison some of the food and then feed it to them. But anyway,
Yeah.
and then there were the other ones, which I'm pretty sure were in the hobgoblin chest.
Yes. You didn't identify them. That is correct. How many were there?
2.
2. One can be a. I just make sure to the right level here of these things. Make sure I give you the correct. They weren't healed. I can give you some little. You just identified it now. I can give you something better. Sure. Why not? You know. I'll just change them here because I'm looking through my notes and trying to find it here. So one is a potion of leaping.
Okay.
And the other is a potion of resistance 5. Lesser.
Not bad.
Okay.
Have some cooler level 5 stuff. I'm just gonna, have to while I find those in my notes, I'll just get rid of them. Now I've changed it.
Yep.
It's so annoying it doesn't actually specify that in that. Okay, figured it out. I'm trying
Cool.
to I was trying to figure out okay, you expend a number of charges from the staff to cast a spell from the list. It's like, okay, how many charges? I had to look up all the staff rules because it doesn't say it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you have to look at the staff rules for that one there.
Yeah.
It's too
It's like, it'd be nice if they actually spelled it out, but okay.
Yeah, it should say like a number of charges equal to the level of the spell.
Yeah. Because that's all it really is. It's just they have to actually say that, and they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had to look up how many charges I do preparing it in the morning, which is without putting any extra spell slots, it's 3. So I can cast heal 3 times with the staff and stabilize as many times as I want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the only item in the GM core the only poison that paralyzes in the GM core is a 20th level poison.
Wonderful. It's not going to be that. It's probably a version of that with a really low DC in comparison.
I'm
Yep.
surprised that that's the
It's
only one
a
that's
watered
done.
down version.
Yeah.
Everything else like
yeah.
enfeebles and stuff. So weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could probably you could adjust this. It's the Tears of Death potion. You could probably adjust it so stage 1 is so it's onset 1 minute, and then you could do stage 1 and then duration 10 minutes. And you can do stage 1 instead of no poison damage, but just paralyzed for 1 round. Stage 2 paralyzed for 1 minute, and stage 3 paralyzed for 1 minute. So
Yeah, it's just meant to paralyze and keep people a thing, so it doesn't do damage.
yeah, and then adjust the DC downwards.
We'll probably
Also
say
make
it's
it,
like
ingested instead of contact.
it would be probably like DC 19. It'd be like an item 4 DC. So I'd say it's probably around DC 19.
Yeah,
That's fair.
items, funny enough, have a different ranking. Dumb, but they do.
I'm just keeping it kind of with the basic DCs at this point in time, but I assume there's different things. But again, it's probably just meant to paralyze your average, commoner kind of thing, for a little while they're doing their horrible things to that person. Usual pleasant stuff. Alright, I think that's a great place to leave it there, that we can next time have you guys head back to that place and re-infiltrate it to capture some kind of horrible man-beast hybrid or something, and, come back to figure out how to use that to detect their horrific experiments.
Hey, maybe you'll get to finally use that crazy monster that we bypassed entirely.
Maybe! I'm gonna have to... Honestly, I'm just gonna have to look at seeing what you're going to be having to face against. I've got some options, but I gotta see... I'll just figure out what's going on there since you've left, because it has been a couple of days, and I don't know
Yeah.
how long things would matter. I'll just look into stuff and figure it out. So,
I mean, we spent 1 day traveling back, then another day researching. And
basically,
then we're probably gonna...
I don't have to hide the map anymore, but if you enter into a room, I just can add new stuff into that room, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's something there, I'm like, drag and drop, there's something new there. Whee! Hey, reuse a map. I'll take it. Okay, cool. Anybody have any shout-outs? I know Wyrm normally throws a shout-out for his stuff there, but, Jessie, Joe, do either of you have anything to shout out today? Or are we just going to throw it over to Wyrm on his shout-out here?
I feel that.
Okay. Well then, Wyrm, it's all to you.
Yeah, I'm Diamond Wyrm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWyrm or at DiamondWyrm on Twitter, Blue Sky, and DiamondWyrm9234 on YouTube.
Cool. Great. Myself. Hi. Thank you for being here. I am the GM here, Hashtag Dracovin. You've been at the Dracovin Empire. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to check out the rest of the episodes of this. It's been a fun one. I definitely enjoyed our little episode here. It was a good introduction, and I think we got into it pretty well. A little different than I was planning, but I don't mind the direction you're taking. I wasn't planning for you to go back there, but I don't mind it. I can work with it, you know? Not gonna lie about that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
now I'm curious about where you thought we would go, because I have no idea where else we could have gone.
There were some things you could have done with the information you had, but it was one of those things it was an interesting direction you're taking for the idea. So
Got it.
I do like this.
It's kind of like one of those things where it's all like, there was another way about this, but I like where it's going, so I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Basically, there was some more questions and like some more things related to research you could have done that could have led to different directions, but you didn't dive into it, and that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm looking on the actual like Paizo website or the Archives of Nethys, and yes, that is the only poison that paralyzes. Why?
Which is wild to me.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because aren't there other things that paralyze too, anyway?
I mean, there's the Paralyze spell, which is level 3. It's a 3rd level spell.
That's pretty low-level spell. That would be your level. Yeah. So, like, an item 4 or 5 could theoretically match that, you know? So I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know.
Yep.
Check out my YouTube stuff for any of these things that are uploaded, or if you're not on YouTube, go check me out on Twitter. Twitch. Check out my social medias. And that's just my shout-out to me. I'll be, check out my other stuff. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed Fall of Avanswell, and hopefully see you all next week as we continue the adventure, and they return to a previously done dungeon. Might have some differences. They have some more fights. They got a plan. See how it goes.
Gonna be in and out.
Bye, everybody. I mean, you gave me some bonuses.